Hello everybody, welcome to the video today. It's me back with another video, and welcome to the signal box today. Hope you're all doing well and had a good nice weekend, and we will go straight into this video today. And a big shout out to my normal viewers and subscribers, and we'll crack on. So the subject of today's video is this beastie. This is the Bachmann 4MT standard tank. It's not a review video, it's not an unboxing video, because I've done a video on this loco before. The video today is a little bit of a sad issue about this engine, the fact that it's very problematic at the moment. I got it out last weekend on the previous session. You didn't see it featured in the video, you didn't see it running because it doesn't run, or it doesn't run very well. There is a motor problem with this thing, and I suspected it's the same old issue that these particular models from Bachmann suffered, and I think this is the first batch because it's got the old style motor in, because it's creating so many problems with it running. I'm not saying it's got the original motor in, but the motor that's inside this, what I surmise is the motor that's in this loco is actually on its way out, because it's very erratic, and also it shouldn't slow down on my second radius curves. Now I've got a mixture of second and first radius curves on my layout, and at least on the second radius curves it shouldn't slow down. If the back-to-back is all set, specifically the center driving wheel, I'll just flip it over. If the middle wheel, which is the center driving wheel here, if this is set correctly and these other wheels are all in line and everything is correct from head to toe, back-to-back gauge-wise, it should run with lubrication pretty well. It should run super smooth. It shouldn't slow down on curves. But the fact is that I'm whacking my controller all the way up to the maximum setting it will go, 12 volts, and it's basically at a medium speed. It's not whizzing round. It should be a lot faster, obviously. It should go like the clappers if you put it on full power, but it's not doing that. When you put it on the table like this and you put power leads to it, the wheels do turn, but as soon as you put it on the track, it just slows down. So to me, I think the motor is on its way out. Also, it's not liking my curves, as mentioned. Now, I've spoken to Bachmann Europe this morning. I gave them a telephone call to their repairs and spares department. After a bit of a wait on the phone, I got through to someone, and they said, okay, give us the reference number of the model, which I've got, and all the paperwork here. As you can see, I've got all the bits with it. And they said, yeah, it sounds as though it shouldn't do that on curves, certainly second radius curves. He said, we've even heard stories of them going around first radius curves, no problem. He said, if it's not the back-to-back, it's most definitely a motor issue. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to send it back to you, because these things are an absolute pig and nightmare to disassemble purely for simple maintenance and lubrication. I said, I wouldn't say this to you as a company normally. I said, I'm not that sort of person. I said, but I'm sorry, but this is possibly the worst product you have ever designed for the modelers. I said, because it is absolutely horrible for maintenance purposes and just trying to remove simple things like the keeper plate to access the axles and gears to lubricate and put a simple drop of oil on. Everything on this thing you have to do externally. You can't actually take anything apart and get to where you need to get. And if you do, it's an absolute mission and nightmare, because there's nothing to grab onto. As a YouTuber once commented on his video about servicing one of these things, he compared it to a daddy long leg spider because there was nothing to grab onto. It was just all spindly legs everywhere. He's quite right, actually, because when you try and lift this out of the body, it's an extremely tight fit. It's an absolute nightmare to take apart. There's a couple of screws underneath which you undo, but once you've got those out, there's nothing to physically grab onto apart from the edge of the wheels to pull it loose from the body, and it really is a tight fit. There's only one other locomotive that I would say that I'm afraid to touch and service, and that is, other than this one, is the buck jumpers. They are equally the same. Loads of fiddly fine scale bits that are so fragile, and also the chassis and the body, oh, that's a nightmare to separate. Very tight fit. The actual body itself is extremely heavy. It's in some places die cast with plastic weights, and not plastic weights, die cast weights inside here, and it's quite a chunky, heavy chassis. And the body, should I say, sorry, I got that round the wrong way. I'll start again. The body is quite chunky. There is some weights, some lead cast weights in the boiler bit, and around here there's some weight, and it's quite a lumpy body shell is what I wanted to say. The chassis is equally lumpy, so it makes for quite a nice paperweight. Literally. But the thing is, it's such a beautiful engine, as we know, and I'm not going to do a review on it, or as I said, talk about a lot of it. Is what I'm talking about today is the maintenance nightmare of one of these things. Now, it's my birthday coming up in a few weeks' time, and I have received some funds, and I was very tempted to get another one of these. But the fact is, I spoke to Bachmann, as mentioned this morning, and what they quoted me for sending it back to them in the post, for a new motor, service and everything on it, a basic general figure, looking is just over £40, anywhere between 40 to 55 pounds, anything. That's including a new motor in it and anything else that might need doing on it possibly. I know the speedo cable, if I zoom it in here, that black speedo cable I super glued back together because it snapped off, so that's going to need a new speedo cable. I think possibly the chassis, the wheels, they're okay, the linkage, com rods, everything there is good, but do you know what, guys, it's pretty much £30 shy of another second-hand one off eBay. And I think what the crafty git, I don't like to use harsh words, but that is what we best describe the individual that sold me this, the git knew that this loco was a naff runner, and that there was a problem with the motor, and that it was problematic. That's why the git put it on eBay and sold it to me for about £100 I paid at the time, about a year or two ago, if you remember. It's on the channel, the video, and yeah, because Bachmann has assured me these shouldn't behave like that on the track in terms of the slow speed with the motor cranked up all the way, power source wise, and it shouldn't slow down or crawl round second radius curves. I mean, I've got a Bachmann 5MT, and that's a beautiful tender engine, and that goes round my blinking first radius curves, no problem. Tender first and loco first. It really is an excellent runner. So I'm not knocking Bachmann as a whole, but what I am knocking Bachmann for is this particular designer loco. They are not the best of locos to access and design and get to. That's the only thing I'll give a thumbs up to sort of Hornby. Most of the Hornby locos, if all of them, are very much simple to dismantle, take the body shell off, get to the motor and the chassis, do what you got to do for a service and clean, pop it all back on the layout, switch on, and off she goes. But this thing it's a day's surgery on this thing, literally. It's a good couple of hours on the work table. My hands start shaking, I start sweating literally, because this thing is such a nightmare. Because as you can see, this thing is absolutely littered with detail and very fine scale parts on top there, and also on the bottom here on the running gear, the chassis, there's bits there that are just, it's a nice thing to look at. And when these do run, they are very, very nice looking things, but to get at them to do the maintenance is just it's a horrid thing. And I wish that Bachmann would do something better, or for example Hornby bring out one of these with a little bit more added detail on it. They could do it, it's quite possible. as I've seen, obviously I own quite a few Hornby products, especially the later stuff, and they are extremely lovely. There's some lovely detail on them that really do stand out, and I know that Bachmann could probably do the same, if not better. But it's a shame because it is a nice model. But I know I'm ranting on and digressing a bit, folks, today, but just out of purely out of conversation, there is literally nothing I can do with this anymore. It's got to go back to Bachmann up in Leicester and to their factory, and then once they've received it, they'll send me an invoice, and then obviously I've got to pay that if I wish to. Well, I'm going to have to obviously pay it and get it repaired and get it sent back, because it is a nice thing, and I've always wanted to own one of these ones, and I think it's one of those things, like, do you weigh it up? Do you stick it on eBay and sell it? But the thing is, I'll get half the price for it, given the condition and the problematic issues with it. So I think the best investment to do with this, to be honest, is that at a later stage, box it up, send it with the details back to Bachmann, pay for it to be serviced and repaired properly, and then we'll see how it goes from there. And I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% confident that once Bachmann sort out the few issues with this, like the wheel sets, and more importantly the motor and the issues with it, and put a new speedo cable in there for me, simple job. I think we are good to go, and I think it should be okay. See, another little thing, looking at this loco quickly this morning before we put the thing away, is it's a nice looking thing, as we've mentioned, we know that. But one of the nice little features they could have done, again, I'm giving a shout out to Accurascale. Now, if Accurascale had got their hands on this, I think things would have been a different story. And one of the things they would have featured is a removable cab. This would have been great. Would it not been a great idea if this whole cab roof would be magnetically attached, so you could lift it off just like the buck jumpers? That'd be so nice. Then you could do what you wanted with inside the cab, couldn't you? But these things, I mean, if I wanted to put a loco crew on this, there's detail inside there. There is, believe me, you and me, there is detail inside, but you can't blink him or see it. And to get a figure through there, that is just, the only way you do it is get a pair of tweezers and just somehow maneuver that through the window there, because it's an absolute, or the cab doorway, it's an absolute mission to do that. So you've got to somehow faff around with a pair of tweezers, put the driver's head in between your tweezers, bung him through that little aperture there, and trying to maneuver him into position. Because taking this off, the cab roof doesn't come off. It's part of the moulded body, I think, unless anybody knows otherwise. But I'm thinking that whole body has to come off at least to get to the cab. It's really not a good thing. It really is a sealed container. It's my only words for it. It's a shame, really, because Bachmann have done so many design faults with this. It's not very friendly. Also, if you look at the roof, those roof vents are moulded. If that was Hornby or any other sort of half decent model railway company, they would have made those so they open. I know Hornby would have done that. On my Thompson L1, they open. It really is a simple feature they could have added. So this is quite an old model, because you can look at the box here, and this is a Blue Ribbon brand, Bachmann Branch Land. Where's that? Where's Branchland? I don't know where it is. Branchland. Must be near Becontree. Stop it. Bachmann Branch Line Blue Ribbon. This is quite an old Bachmann model compared to their more modern stuff. But as you can see, I've got the guarantee here. I know it's only a 6 months guarantee, which is crap. Again, this is what I like about Accurascale, folks. Accurascale offer a lifetime warranty on their stuff, just like Gagemaster. Two companies that I am aware of that have got a lifetime guarantee on all their stuff. Hornby you can send it back, and then I think you've got to pay, like Bachmann, you pay for whatever needs doing on it if it's within the warranty. If it's not in the warranty, you've got to pay. Whereas Accurascale and Gagemaster, on all their products, lifetime warranty. I've sent my Gagemaster DS track simulator analog controller back about 2 times now to them, and both times they've honoured it, they've fixed it, and it's working fine. Same with Accurascale stuff. But so this, to sum it up today, I know a bit of a rant and a tangent about this, but it's going to have to go back in the box, sadly, and sit in my collection for a while until I can get round to sending it off back up to Leicester and getting it sorted out, which is a shame, because I don't believe in model railway locomotives becoming paperweights or sat in a cabinet. They are designed to be played with, to be run, to be admired in working motion. That's my surmise and thoughts about that. I'm in a bit of a tangent mood this morning, as you probably can hear from my voice, and I'm going to have to let it out. I went on eBay last night and I looked at quite a few of these to possibly contemplate getting a replacement, and I was just shocked and amazed at how many eBay sellers, and again, eBay, if you're listening to eBay, the powers that be in eBay, you need to stop sellers doing this. Putting 2 shots or 1 shot of a locomotive that you want to buy, or they're up for sale, and you can't see close-up shots of the item in question. You can't see more than 1 picture. So how do we know it's working by a visual appearance? Also, there's no description saying, oh, it's been tested and it's working. Some of these have just been put in what I call the AI description, which is the artificial intelligence description of something that the computer tends to think, oh, that's what it should say about it. Even better still, why not do a short running video of your product that goes at least backwards and forwards at a medium to slow speed, so people can see, oh yes, it runs. It would be helpful. Now, I know some eBay sellers do that, and I'm not knocking them, but from what I've seen on eBay last night of quite a few of these listed, there's very few that have got close-up shots of things like the chassis, the wheels, the speedo cable, which is on the rear wheel, which is that, which I've super glued to no effect. That piece of plastic cable that rotates with that crank there, a few were missing in the shot, but the seller had the darn cheek to turn around and say, oh, in excellent, good condition. If something's not on there, or broken off or missing, it's not very good condition. You've lied. And I do hate that. I hate people that lie anyway. That's one of my pet hates. Be honest and put your hands up. That's a good policy in life. But it really makes me angry, that does. And I saw so many of these on eBay last night where they just were completely inaccurately described. And I do hate that. If something's not working, if it's a poor runner, solder spares or repairs, or something's missing on it, be honest. Then you know where you stand. It's like myself. I put a Hornby 4F Fowler, Midland Fowler, on eBay. I put it up there recently. It's the one that I attempted to weather, and it's got no motor in it, so it's technically a static engine. It just needs a little bit of a project for someone to put a motor back into it and get it going and renumber it. But I've sold it as that, and I've listed it as that accurately, so you know what you're getting. You can see what you're getting. But people that put these things on here, specifically these standard 4MTs, and just do not describe them accurately, that just gets my goat. Anyway, rant over. And I'm going to go and sit down now. Now my rant has been aired on social media. In terms of running, what have we got coming up? So in the next videos coming up, or next video, I'm off to Swanage this week on Friday, so I'm definitely going to try and take some video footage of whatever I go behind. I mean, that will be obviously worth it. I'm awaiting a new station building that's being delivered, so that's going to go on the layout. That will be a video. And I'm also waiting the little open cab green Great Western coloured pannier from Hornby. which I got from eBay recently. That's going to be another video. So a few bits to video and do between this week and next and so forth. Anyway, thanks for sticking with the video today. I know it's been a bit of a boring one, but I just wanted to highlight this particular model from Bachmann. And if you are thinking about getting one of these and you're caught by the eye and you thought, oh, that looks a lovely engine, I wouldn't mind one of those. They do look lovely, and my video here today doesn't do it justice. In real life, these things are very, very, very beautiful things, but they are a maintenance liability and nightmare. So there we are, that's where we're at with it. I'm going to send it back, and then at some point we'll get her back in service. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Thanks for sticking with the video. Have a great day and all the best.